All right, we're good. You know, now that I'm looking at it, look at this. This is a pretty cool view of 157 and the Steinway Tower together on this side. Somebody says a caller at this hour. Yeah, now it's funny because you know, it's funny because the person who called me is actually from Italy. But isn't it like 3 o'clock in the morning in Italy right now? Or no, they're 6 hours ahead. I don't even know what time it is here. 10. Yeah, it's like 4:30 in the morning in Italy, I think. 4 o'clock? I don't know. Anyway. Cool. Let's take one more look at Central Park Tower. I'm going to be going to an event here tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, on the 100th floor. Look at that. I believe Xtel is going to be giving a presentation here tomorrow. I think they're rolling out some sort of an incentive to try to, increase sales for the building. So 157, which is the one you're looking at right now, and Central Park Tower are the exact same developer. Hopefully I'll be able to get some footage for you guys tomorrow. It's an amazing building, great property, great project. Abdullah, what's up? Good to see ya. Let's head up towards Lincoln Center. Might as well. Lance is, are you selling the penthouse? Are you talking about the one at the Conover in Red Hook? We're trying for sure. We have an event Sunday afternoon, 3 to 5. If you're in Brooklyn, feel free to come on by. I feel as if a lot of the times the police officers or the cops just kind of turn on those lights because they don't want to wait at the red light. Can't prove that, but I feel as if that's a big part of it, right? Yeah, Chris Mace's Widow Jane is a nice touch to the event. Well, if you go on Google Maps and you just type in Widow Jane, it's right across the street from our project, which is kind of cool. Because a lot of the buildings, or I should say a lot of the units in the building with the northwest facing views, I think that guy hit something. You hear that? Here's a cardboard box. But I don't know if you guys can see this. Look at those traffic lights are heavy. They must be hundreds of pounds, and the wind is blowing them all over the place. So even though it's not a horrible day out of Manhattan, there's no more rain. This is crazy wind, like really crazy wind. Hopefully it's not too annoying in the microphone, but anyway, yeah, a lot of the units are overlooking the distillery, and the Widow Jane has a really nice facade. So yeah, it's a cool neighborhood. Very up-and-coming neighborhood. Chris says it's good bourbon. They bring it in from Kentucky to age in New York. Yeah, I see them all the time. They have these big forklifts that are bringing the alcohol. They gave me a tour of the facility. It was cool. Really cool stuff. And the way we staged the penthouse, we staged it with sort of underpinnings and tones of the neighborhood, right? So the bar is all stocked with stuff from the Widow Jane, right? It's probably not the best idea to go to Columbus Circle on such a windy day. This is one of the windiest parts of the city by far. Not even a debate. Hey, Ed Dunkel says, are there professional stagers? Yes. So we hired this company, which is really good. The company is called Staged to Sell. So if you're shopping for an apartment in Manhattan, and if it's professionally staged in new development, there's like 3, maybe 4 companies that get the majority of the business for staging, and they do a really good job. I mean, this stuff looks really good. And there's a major difference. It makes a big difference. Like, you know, if I'm showing a bare apartment, right, that doesn't have any staging or furniture in it, you know, buyers have a very, very hard time conceptualizing the space. So, you know, when you have furniture in it, when you have artwork, you know, when it looks like a home, then the buyers, you know, it gets their wheels turning to say, oh, I can put my couch here. This is how I would rearrange it. Or they inquire about the particular furniture. Say, who's the designer? Who's, you know, X, Y, and Z. And then, you know, maybe we could even procure the exact same furniture that was in the model unit. So it makes a difference. It definitely makes a big difference. But the company is called Staged to Sell. And I think one of their main offices, or their warehouse, is in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. But they do great work, phenomenal. I'm gonna be filming a video, a property tour of the penthouse. It's just, the weather's been so horrible that it's not been good for filming. So hopefully on Friday, I'll be able to film that. Man, the wind is crazy. This is the Trump International Hotel and Tower right here. Really cool. But Ed, you know, we launched a new project in Chelsea, 435 West 19th Street. We're just adjacent from the Lantern Building. And Steve Gold is running that project. Corcoran Sunshine, which that's one of my favorite buildings, by the way, on the High Line. But we got the deal to lead sales on 19th Street. And that project is insane. That project is really cool. I know, Leia says, Tom must be freezing in this wind. You know, it's not cold out, which is the strange thing. We're actually getting a little bit of a warm front. But with the crazy storm that we had yesterday moving out, I mean, the wind is just ridiculous. You can kind of tell because nobody's walking around outside. It's just way too windy for that. This is the Deutsche Bank towers here. Pretty cool. Well, let's check out the 15 Central Park West. Right here, the limestone building. I know, Richard Vogel. I apologize. It must be brutal listening to this on the audio. I have to go back to B&H tomorrow and get a microphone. That's going to be on the action items list, I promise. Look at that, 15 Central Park West. Great building here. Right on Central Park. Amazing view of 432 Park, Steinway Tower, 157. But I would say the best selling building and the most desirable building right now on Billionaires Row is right here, 15 Central Park, or 220 Central Park South, right here with the gold top. Because it's not one of those huge erected glass facades. It kind of gives off the feel of this 15 Central Park West a little bit. Maybe feels a little bit more homey than you know, some of those huge ones in the sky. Now, I actually brought a client to see one of the last sponsor units at 157, and what the feedback was, it kind of felt a little bit like you were in a fishbowl, like everybody's looking at you. You kind of don't get as much privacy. I get that. Some people like the more, you know, secure feeling of brick and mortar everywhere. I get it. This is the main driveway. These gates usually are closed at night, though. Oh, this guy's trying to finesse this parking space. This is 1 West 60th Street. This is a brand new development too. This one's really nice, but I think the developer is foregoing sales here, and they made it a rental building. I think that would do well for sales though, to be honest. You're right near Central Park. You're right near Lincoln Center. Hey, Ibrahim Azam, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us as we explore the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Ooh, finally get a little break from the wind. West 62nd Street. Now, you know what's another interesting well, not really new development. The building, I think, was built in 1910, but they did a total gut renovation and now it's condos. Check out 160 Inlay, which is not too far away from our new development. That's very unique. It looks unfinished, but it kind of fits the vibe of the neighborhood in Red Hook. It's like you're just buying like a core, essentially. It almost feels as if the apartment is not finished. But in that neighborhood, it's very industrial. There's a lot of creatives, a lot of millwork shops. I think there's 4 units left, something like that. Check out Lincoln Center. Hey, NMB 45 says, hey, what's up, Tom? Very interesting topics we covered yesterday. Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff yesterday on the stream in the pouring rain. But today, the biggest news really on Wall Street was the Bitcoin ETF approval in part 1 of the live stream. We covered that, pretty much beat that topic into the ground. But yeah, massive news on Wall Street. With the approval of the first spot Bitcoin ETF. There's a handful of them that were approved. You know, I've sort of given my opinion. I will not personally be buying those. Just because I think it violates the only value proposition of Bitcoin. But for most people that don't want to self-custody and, you know, deal with handling their private keys in a paper wallet or a ledger, you know, now people will just be able to log on in their brokerage accounts and buy a BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF, or from ARK, from Invesco. So it's big. I mean, that really opens the rails to retail and institutional buying and gives it validity, right? Because one of the things we were talking about in part one of the live stream, this is a beautiful view of Lincoln Center, is that the main problem in Bitcoin is everybody was very skeptical in the legalities of things. You know, particularly, let's say if you work at a major family office or a sovereign wealth fund, or even a big pension fund, right? If you're managing, you know, the pension assets of firefighters, teachers, public servants, and the like, you know, they're probably gonna be like, probably not a good look to speculate on Bitcoin. You know, is it regulated? We really don't know too much about it. You know, but now, with the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, coming out, you can read the official statement if you go to sec.gov/Bitcoin. They put their official statement up there. Now, you know, this shows to all of those funds that, hey, this is a regulated, well-regulated, safe asset that has custody of you know, very notable and reputable firms like Fidelity, BlackRock, you know, Invesco, and the like. So I think they're gonna do well. Again, will I be buying it? No, but I think they'll all do well and attract significant AUM. I think the only one that's not going to do well, which we've talked about the reasons why, I believe the Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF is going to perform horribly in terms of attracting assets, because who is going to pay 150 basis points or 1.5% to hold Bitcoin? It's ridiculous. When you could just go buy the same exact product from BlackRock, I believe the ticker is BITI, for 0.2%, right? Or you could buy it from Invesco, I think, for a little bit less. So I don't know, maybe it's because I believe they were the first company to file the paperwork for the first spot Bitcoin ETF, so they thought that they could, you know, be the only game in town, but now you have a lot of competition. All right, welcome to Lincoln Center. Look at that, beautiful. Hey, Pup is here, good to see you. But next weekend, or I should say next week on Thursday, in our second edition of the Behind the Street newsletter for the year, we're going to be doing a deep dive into what exactly those spot Bitcoin ETFs are, and how it can impact the market, not only the cryptocurrency markets, but the general equity market. And if you want to read that, if you just scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email, that'll bring you to our Substack. So for all of our subscribers, we publish all of our equity research and market thoughts every other Thursday. So feel free to check us out over there. If you can't scan the QR code, just type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack. But look, even if you're not interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and you think they're a fraud, it's still important to pay attention to their price action, because you can use it as sort of a leading economic indicator and a proxy for risk appetite on the street, right? It's a very sort of ominous looking picture, right? Central Park Tower with those clouds in the background. let's head back over to the east side. I gotta go there anyway. But you know what? Yesterday we were talking a lot about cybersecurity because the SEC's Twitter account got hacked. Now, you know what I'm curious about? So there was obviously the fake news that came out yesterday saying that the SEC approved the Bitcoin ETFs. Then Gary Gensler coming out and saying, no, that was fake. We just got hacked. How did the hacker know that they were going to approve it the next day? That's sort of have been on my mind ever since they've officially announced it, which leads me to believe that was maybe internal, right? Was it like an internal hack? I mean, who could have possibly known that today they were going to approve it? I don't know. Kind of strange. But cybersecurity companies did well yesterday, and they continue to follow through today. Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike. Yeah, Hawaii's like maybe it's a human error cover up. Sharon says, I had the same thought. I'm pretty sure someone accidentally posted a tweet of the drafts. You know what? I think you're right. It was probably the Securities and Exchange Commission intern, you know, that was in charge of putting out a tweet. You know, draft this tweet for tomorrow after the market closed. And they accidentally clicked send. And then they said, you know what? We got hacked. Because in my opinion, you know, the SEC came out and said that they didn't have the two-factor authentication on. I kind of find that a little hard to believe, I guess. I don't know. Josh S says today was the deadline for the approval. Right, but still, like, how would a hacker, like, just if some random person know that it was going to get approved? Maybe, I mean, nobody knew 100%, right? I don't know. It's interesting. Here's another look at 15 Central Park West. I was gonna say, let's cut over through Central Park to go to the east side, but I don't think you guys will be able to see anything. It's gonna be way too dark in Central Park. I think that'd be a cool live stream though. Maybe we'll do that in the summer. Four, five, six. It was a court case. Based on that, everyone was pretty certain that the SEC would approve. Let's cross. Josh S. says, once the SEC lost their court case, they had no grounds to not approve it. So it was pretty much, so what you're saying is pretty much certainty, right? They had to do it legally. Yeah, I'm sure Gary Gensler is like pounding his fists. I think of that. Remember that meme of like Arthur, that little kid show back in the day with his fist? Because Gary Gensler clearly does not like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Like, it's very, very apparent. But the law is more important than what the chairman of the SEC thinks. It's funny. Looks like there's full occupancy here in the Trump Tower. The hotel portion, anyway. Almost every single light is on tonight. Yeah, 456 is they approved Bitcoin futures ETFs a while back. It was ridiculous. Yeah, the ETFs on the market were Bitcoin futures. Now, you know, the spot, they actually own the underlying asset, which is a big deal. I'm just looking at the top floor. There appears to be somebody home on that top duplex at 157. Now, the 83rd floor, which is this little light right here, this one, the entire 83rd floor of 157 just recently sold for $31 million, just sold and closed. Now they listed it on the market for $34 million. And I went to the broker open house, which was an amazing event. An amazing event. I've been to a lot of broker open houses. I think that was my honest to God, my all-time favorite one, hosted by Douglas Elliman's Noble Black. It was an amazing broker open house there. And in 2 weeks, these guys sold it in 2 weeks. Incredible. For 31. You know, a little bit below ask, but still, that's a quick close. Yeah, everything in Miami says, wonder who owns it. Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, think about the amount of wealth some people have. You know, $31 million on an apartment, right? You know, if you have a net worth of $31 million, you're considered ultra high net worth. I believe it's $25 million and up. You're considered to be ultra high net worth, I believe. So to have the ability, you know, to spend $31 million on a single apartment, that's some next level stuff right there. Yeah, Layda, that's true. That's a good point. Layda says if you're selling mega $1 million properties, you better believe a seasoned broker is going to throw an epic open house. Yeah, it was epic for sure. Hey, everything in Miami says I love looking up ownership at the property appraiser's website. Yeah. I think Acris, you could see some stuff too, but a lot of times they purchase it through LLCs. Now, I also believe that Noble Black and Douglas Elliman is going to be leading up that new development on Fisher Island in South Florida. Oof, man, that wind is so brutal. I think the development is called 6 Fisher Island. If anybody wants to look that up, that is a cool project. Now, like I said before, tomorrow I'm going to be going to an event on the 100th floor of Central Park Tower, which is their private restaurant and club / lounge for the residents in the building, which I'm excited about. I believe Xtel, who's the developer, is going to be giving a little bit of a presentation, so I'll be going with the team. I'll try to take some footage from inside the restaurant. It's a nice building. But you know what? I really like the Essex House. Even though it's older, right? It's such an iconic and historic building. If you've ever been in the lobby of the Essex House right here on Central Park South, I think it's unmatched in my view. It's an awesome property. The hotel and residence there at the Essex House. Mohammed Chaudhry, what's up? Good to see you, Mohammed. Trust you're well. This is a pretty cool shot of 220 Central Park South. Hey Joe, what's up? This is great to be able to be with you tonight. Appreciate that, Joe. Hopefully you're enjoying the live stream on this very windy, crazy windy night in Manhattan. We're walking eastbound on Central Park South. This is the JW Marriott Essex House right here. You can see a little bit of the famous sign on the top. And this is Central Park. Looks extremely peaceful. Austin City Limits, Tom, it seems like the wind has calmed down. It does, maybe because all these buildings are blocking us. But I can't wait to be back in Miami, Florida. I think these last sort of week and a half in New York, man, has the weather not been favorable. And I've been traveling outside a lot in it too. YouTube versus your man Bill Ackman has proven himself to be a horrible person recently. I love Bill. I think he's great. Hey, NAV407, what's up? This is Hey Tom, I'm back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming back. Just commuting home now. Just headed over to the east side. This is part 2 of the stream. We covered the SEC's approval for the spot Bitcoin ETF tonight. But yeah, hopefully next week, I was looking at the weather report and I think it's going to be in the 60s next week for Miami, which is very cold. That's really cold for South Florida. This is 106 Central Park South. If anybody's looking for a good rental building, you know, if you're looking to rent in New York City, right on Central Park South, this is a great building to rent. Or I should say to rent in. It's very, very well kept. Honestly, the best building I've ever lived in my life. No exaggeration, right here. 106 Central Park South. Very well kept. An older building, yes, but very nice. And you're right here. I mean, imagine just coming down the elevator, walking through the lobby, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then going on a jog through Central Park. That's awesome. Peter says no rent control in it. No rent control. Brad's brain says, is this where you lived in the closet? No, that was all the way over by Columbus Circle. So right across the street from the Deutsche Bank Towers, when I was a teenager, I used to live in someone's walk-in closet. It was literally a walk-in closet. This, I scored a really good deal during the pandemic. I had a studio apartment. It was the only studio in the building that had Central Park views. It was awesome. It was on the 20th floor of this building. I think that's actually the apartment with the light on, this one. And it was the only apartment in the building, only studio apartment that had Central Park views. It was an awesome place. Now, now the rent is crazy because the pandemic is over, right? But there was a time in New York City, right throughout the pandemic, we had about 8 months of a mini sort of flash crash here, where a lot of people were moving out of the city. A lot of people were dumping property. A lot of people were freaking out. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. It was like 4 years ago now, but the sentiment in Manhattan, in New York City, was nothing like I've ever seen before. I mean, that sentiment was crazy. They thought it was gonna be Mad Max in New York, right? And there was a lot of good deals. There was a lot of, good pandemic deals on rent. Those are long gone now, but this is the Park Lane Hotel to the right. Yeah, Vinny says there is a 1-bedroom there for $4,000 with the view of the park. It's a great deal. Yeah, and now I think the one you're talking about in 106 Central Park South, I think it was originally listed for $4,500. Then they dropped it to $4,000, but look at the fee on that. The fee is like really crazy. I think it's a 50% fee on the rental. And that particular unit, it doesn't have a kitchen. It only has a little hot plate. So yeah, I mean, it's big, but I know of that unit, the one that you're talking about. I think that would be a good unit to purchase, but you got to renovate it and put a kitchen in there. You have to, if we're talking about the same one. So right as you come in, you have like an unobstructed view of Central Park, and you have obviously a bathroom, an ensuite bath, and then you have a powder room in front. So it's like 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath. Very cool spot, but there's no oven. That's the only thing. I think that's why it's been sitting on the market so long. And the fee is really crazy. This is the residences side of the plaza. right, let's cross the street. All right, cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for coming out to part 2 of the stream. It's been a windy one. I think I'm going to call it a night a little bit early just because the wind is extremely relentless. And I don't want to be out in the wind for too long. But if you all enjoyed the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Click the subscribe button if you're new. And if you'd like to stay up to date on the financial markets, we do write a free investing newsletter for all of our Walks in Wall Street subscribers, and we include exclusive New York City property tours that I think you're gonna like. So all of our listings here at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, we're one of the top real estate sales teams in New York City, Manhattan. If you'd like to have a behind the scenes look on some of our listings, scan the QR code, punch in your email, and I will send you a property tour every other Thursday after the market closes. So Janice S., I appreciate it. Austin City Limits, Water Blazing, thank you so much. Fun Feeds, SoCal Lawrence, Chris B., the one and only Hawaii, good to see you as always. Sharon, all of our moderators, Austin City Limits, Touted Tara, NNB 45. Appreciate you very much. Joseph Hardaway Jr. Yeah, Junior, we covered the Bitcoin ETF in depth. We'll see you guys later. All right, take care.